Nope. What are you watching? What do you mean weird? Oh, awesome. I think what I heard was awkward, not awesome. So I interpreted it as weird. Mm-hmm. Okay, that didn't work. Link, Control M. Yeah, I want to leave those in the blue to actually oops. What'd you say, Zuko? The parrot just said something. I'm not quite sure what he said. So, if there's anybody out there that watches this later and wonders why I didn't announce that I was live streaming, the basic reason is I'm not really trying to create an event. At some point I might, but I'm just live streaming to save myself the step of uploading videos to YouTube. There's just one more thing to do. Not quite happy with that. Of course, that's all going to be black. Okay, so I'm going to solo that ink. Grab all this. That is to say, I would grab all this if it was possible to do so. Tweak those strokes. Paste in those. And actually, Control Z. There's one thing about that I definitely don't like. Let's go to this view. Oh, brother. Okay, Blender will only let me zoom in that far. That's kind of interesting. Why would that be? I'm in perspective mode. Let's just confirm. So that got switched as well. At some point, it got switched so that the rotational center point is no longer the center of the world. I've had that happen a couple times over the years, and to this day I have no idea how to fix it. It's just a coincidence. So, let's see. garbage here. Oh, I mean, that's the problem with Blender Grease Pencil, actually. You zoom in, you see more and more little things you wish weren't there. That's better. Okay, so what we actually have here is one static shot, and then we got her face animating over top of that. So therefore, we will do everything except that. Oops. Yeah, this is kind of what I'm talking about. You know, you zoom in on those lines and you see how really ugly they are. Obviously, you could put some smoothing on the brush, which would help that. I'm just kind of taking the attitude of let's just run over the whole thing with the smoothing tool. Seems to do the trick. Okay, so now we got a little issue here. Let's just do it this way. Okay, something else selected. And why is the cursor there? I'm gonna have to look at that here in a second. See? It's picking the center of the selection. I know why. See what I'm saying? It looks like that's select. I don't know. All I can say is this really strange behavior. But okay. So now those two are connected. That's closed. Okay, so looks like we're in pretty good shape. I probably should have a line down here to delineate where the essentially where her neck is, just so that that pillow can fill properly. So, okay, so that's good. So we've got 1, 2, 3 frames. And of course we've got that, which it might be nice to not have to redraw. And if we don't want to redraw it, then we probably need to go ahead and get the top of her head, or her hair, I should say. And in this case, I'm doing this the CG way. Can't go too far. The CG way meaning instead of drawing it, I'm just manipulating points. Okay, so this could be an area of concern. Actually, what I'm going to do is grab these 2 points and get rid of them. Just so, let's see, I want only render. Okay, that looks pretty good, but obviously we got to fix that as well. So this is what I was talking about. Right now the center of the scaling is there. So you might think, well, hit the period key so it centers around the or hit the comma. Okay, and you can see the area was selected, but it's still scaling from there. If I were to hit the period key, then things, as you can see, would scale, rotate, whatever, around the cursor. I want them to, all translations to take place around the currently selected points. But what it's doing is it's doing it from here. All I can say is I bumped into this, I'm going to say in the last couple years. I bumped into it maybe 3 times. And all I can say is there's a section here, and I'm going to rotate these points. I want it to rotate around the center of this selection. And usually it's either that or it's hit the period key, and then wherever you put the cursor, you know, now it's going to rotate around the cursor, which that works properly. So I'm going to hit the comma again, and it should rotate around the center. You can see from the selector here that Blender knows this is the entire selection. It's not like there's something else selected, right? But if I hit rotate, it's rotating around a spot way up here. So suffice to say, I have absolutely no idea why. And like I said, that's come up several times in the last couple of years. Searched, you know, spent an hour Googling it. You know, what did I change? What did I do? What button did I hit that changed something so that now it won't rotate around the selection? And I literally have no clue what causes that. So if anybody has an idea, shoot me a message. The frustrating thing about that is that it always happens you never know that it happened until it's way after the fact, way too late, and you have no idea what you did. So anyway, so now I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and create another layer. Okay, we'll call this Akari face close up. Alright, and I'm going to move this up just so it's kind of near Akari so that we can get this. Now this is going to be tricky because, okay, first thing we need to do is insert a key. Okay, so I'm just going to check here. Yep. Okay, and what That's interesting. Okay. As usual, I'm confused. Yep. Okay. I made a mistake. What I need to do is grab these points and let's see, let's go Control C, Control V. Yeah. And then here we actually want to delete those strokes. Okay, so now that's interesting. So I pasted them in here, and you see what just happened? This is a great example of what can happen in Blender so easily. Okay, what just happened was I repasted them into the wrong layer. Well, that's okay. Let's move them back to where they're supposed to be. Okay, so the good news is that you can move them back to where they're supposed to be. Okay, so now, interestingly, oh, I see what's going on. Okay, so what that means is I should have actually put this in yet another layer. Reason being that the this sketch is in that layer. Okay, the Akari layer. So that means that when I inked onto it, now I've got to copy the strokes 3 times, or else put them in a different layer. So I'm going to move these to a new layer. Okay, now that's really interesting. Okay, why did that happen? That happened because the Akari layer is parented to this. Okay, I want to look at this for a second. Okay, so let's just go back. Yeah, so it was parented to that so that we could do that move. And I guess, to be fair and accurate, I don't plan on doing any other moves, so I guess we'll go ahead and just put this down where it is supposed to be. Things like that I don't super like to do because, you know, now we're creating an offset to, you know, we created a translation, now we're creating an offset from the translation. It's the kind of thing that can bite you in the butt downstream. And usually does. But we'll go with it. You know, to be perfectly frank, what I'm experiencing right now is kind of where the Blender grease pencil falls flat for me, and always has, is once you get past just working in 1 or 2 layers, I find it gets very unwieldy fast. And you're seeing this. Hey Oscar, good morning. So you're seeing this business of putting things in the wrong layer and realizing you moved something where you didn't mean to. When I work with, say, you know, Creator or OpenTunes, that simply doesn't happen. I always know where I am, sort of thing. With Blender, it just seems to be so easy to screw that up. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and create a keyframe there just so we get a blank one, and this is going to be Akari face close-up outline. And the reason we're doing it that way is so that that frame can simply repeat. Okay, so, you know, we're at the point where we have to scroll to keep track of all our layers. Okay, so we got that in place, so let's go ahead and ink her face, and then we can put all the animation in this layer. Actually, what we should do, excuse me, let me see, I'm going to go back here, Akari face close-up, DB, so I'm just putting a blank keyframe in there. Okay, so now, let's get this done. Okay, I think I'm going to probably have to smooth these lines. So let's just do that. You don't want to smooth the ends. If you do, they tend to move around on you like that. If that's what you want, it's cool, but oh, E key, not the D key. So this part's a little worrying in that the inked version, you know, you always think it's probably not going to look as good as the sketchy version, right? And that is often the case, but this actually looks better than I thought it would. So I need to fix this. Well, let's make our eraser smaller. Okay, so we got to go D key, and then hit the eraser, and then bring it down a notch. Of course, I could just zoom in. Yeah, see, that's the problem. And that's because I drew that one line fairly quickly, so at least I can fix it like this. And now that's going to be perfect, so that's cool. But actually, that brings up another point here. Okay, so this is exactly the reason why I did it in 2 layers, so I'm going to undo all of that. Let's see, somebody's calling, and I'm going to accept the call. Dave here. Hello? Must be another telemarketer. Okay, I'm kind of expecting a call from the plumber, so. So anyway, what I'm getting at is, we need to handle this like we handled the ponytail. And frankly, let me just see. We probably could use this color, if the truth be known, because yeah, the problem is that the eyebrows have to cover this line. We can't have a line there, obviously. So in point of fact, this needs to be down there, so that because here's the problem is we're going to hit the next keyframe where her expression changes, and now the eyebrows have moved, so now we're going to have to constantly go into the layer that I created behind it, that the whole point is that it doesn't have to change, right? And I'm going to have to keep changing, you know, doing erasing to accommodate the fact that the position of the eyebrows is changing relative to the hair behind it. So I think you probably get what I'm trying to say, but I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and, for now, since I did those as basically single strokes, I'm going to go ahead and treat them this way. Now I'm going to go grab my ink. The rest of this, if this goes like I think it's going to be pretty fast. So let's go ahead and give her a bit of a lip thing going on here. Let's put, what do I want to do there? I think, boy, it's tempting to actually use some shadow, but I think for now, I'm just going to do that. Okay, so now, cool. That's super cool. So now, yeah, exactly. That's why this actually looks surprisingly good to me. Okay, so now the good thing is I should be able to take this this ink and just do deformations to get where we want to get to in terms of the animation changing. So tweak that. We'll go move that just a little bit. Okay, definitely the eyebrows. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the period key so I can just have an anchor point right there. Select linked, that's the L key. Rotate that, move it back down. Okay, and then we've got to draw a little slight indication of her eyelids, slight indication of her nose starting to wrinkle. And I think that looks pretty good. Let's go to the next frame. Okay, as long as we've already got this eyebrow grabbed, let's create our anchor point there. I may do some sculpting of that actually. In fact, I'm pretty sure I will. Yeah, see, this is where that whole selection thing is going to become a major pain because I just hit the comma. Well, now it looks like it is. Now it's back to translating around the selection, so I'm not going to complain. That's what it's supposed to be doing. Okay, so there's that. Alright, so actually her mouth moves a little bit, rotates. This comes up to here. So, you know, a second ago I was complaining, and this is actually where Blender shines. Okay, and I'm just gonna erase these other lines. Erase them and redraw them because they need to be stronger. I'm not quite satisfied with that. Okay, and let's just keep doing what we're doing. So I'm actually working with the mouse now. Like maybe we have a rogue stroke in there. I'm gonna hit that with the smoother just a little bit. One important thing here is in your proportional editing, right now I've got it set on connected. If I had it on projected 2D, it's not going to manipulate just the strokes I grab. It's going to manipulate anything that is within that circle. Okay, so there's a rogue stroke. Move that up there. I'll just have a slight I don't know. Let's give that a look. We'll turn the turned off the wrong one. That looks awesome. I need to unselect that. Okay, let's just step back to here. Yeah. Looks real good. Okay, so now what we need to do is on the Akari, because we changed shots here. The question is, do we want to try to leverage what we've got here like so? Okay, hold on. Before we do that, let's delete these erroneous lines. Okay, so now, yeah, so yet another example of what I was talking about. Okay, Akari face close up. Because I erased the blue lines while I was in the Akari face close up layer, of course, Blender put a keyframe in there, but I didn't want a keyframe in there. Okay, and I am not at all. What did I just? Yeah, see, this is where it gets really, really, really frustrating. Stuff disappeared. What did I just do? So all I can do is just keep hitting undo until it's back to her face being in there. But of course, Blender also accommodates things like changing frames with the undo. So now switch back to here, so I can't see if it's gone because I have to keep jumping back to here to see. So yeah, pretty annoying. Okay, that's what I was trying to get to. Okay, so now probably the best way to do this without making myself insane is going to be to just grab these two keys and manipulate them directly. So let's hit Control D, bump these babies up to here, and then what we can do is jump up here, and with these two frames, it looks like, let me see. Okay, let's go ahead and lock that frame so we can't mess with it accidentally. And now we'll grab all of this stuff and scale it down. So, I mean, you know, why redraw it, right? If it's already done. So, how's that looking? That's looking pretty good. So there you go. So now I actually want to turn on projected 2D so that I can make some slight modifications, and Blender's going to just grab any strokes that are in the vicinity, and so it treats the collection of strokes as a single unit, which is what I want now. So I could go there, I go like that. Frankly, I probably should hit the W key and subdivide this a couple times and then hit it with the smoothing tool. Okay, so at least that gets me started on this section. Let me see what this, yeah, that looks fine. So she's gonna have to flip over. Okay, so what have we got so far today? I did start working on this before I started live streaming. So from yesterday we had this guy, and then I did a little bit of inking on the laptop with this guy, and just to make my life easier, because I knew the tassels were going to be black, I just went ahead and used a black color for those, and that way they appropriately cover up the costume underneath without me having to really do anything. So at that point we got these two frames, which we'll put in the explosion thing later. It's not an explosion, but stuff hitting the ground. We got Akari. So now I think what we'll do is, let's go to the sketch. Let's unlock the Akari layer. And then, gosh, I probably should lock those two. So now if I'm gonna, in the Akari layer, yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all the points and delete them. All the points, delete them. All the points, delete them. And let's see what we got here. Okay, and so we'll leave them in there. Okay, and now, yeah, and that's fine. I'll have to redraw the bed and stuff, but okay, so now that that's cleaned up, let's go ahead and just take a look. I'm going to go ahead and rewind, if you will. And then I think I'm actually going to take a break. Yeah, it's been about 40 minutes. So sorry to bail on you so quick here, Oscar, but I got a few other things I want to do. So let's play this. Akari will be breathing. That goes, those guys don't look like they're very happy. And okay, that looks pretty good. So we got her rolling over. Back to these guys. Okay, so that's good for now. I'm gonna save my work, and I am checking out, man. So I will be back. Next time I'll tweet when I'm gonna live stream.